Steve Seabolt back with publicspeakersblog.com. Writing is the essence of the speaking business. It's actually not the speaking. The speaking is actually the medium in which we work, or one of them. The main one is professional paid speakers. But the writing that you do is what dictates what you speak on. Unless you're a fluff ball, say nothing, jump up and down, rub each other's shoulders, motivational speaker. Now, I have a lot of friends that are motivational speakers. I just don't really think anyone takes just a motivational speaker very seriously, right? Because all they're doing is having people stand up and jump up and down. They play videos and they just motivate people, music and dancing, and we're walking on fire and all the rest of it. This doesn't change people's belief system. This is not personal development. It's a warm shower. It's a warm bath, as my old friend Zig Ziglar used to say. That's really what it is. You want to be known in this business. If you want to be taken seriously and build a real business, not just a career giving speeches, running around in every baggage claim and hotel in the country. If you want to really build a serious speaking business, you need to be known as a thought leader. And thought leadership comes from what you write. Okay? Think of speakers like the late, great Larry Wilson, Play to Win, one of the greatest personal development books ever written. Totally underrated. Great, great book. Serious thought leader, did billions of dollars in sales. You know, arguably the greatest thought leader we've ever had in the speaking business. Brian Tracy, the great Brian Tracy, right? Another guy. He's written so many books, but Brian digs in deep. He's a thought leader. When he speaks, people take him seriously. They don't think he's a motivational speaker. He's motivational, sure, but he's got something to say because his books are excellent, among the best, if not the best in this industry. Randy Gage is another one. I've known Randy for 100 years, just like Brian and all these guys. Randy is a badass, is what Randy is. Randy says it like it is. Why you're dumb, sick, and broke. Randy goes for it. But Randy's a thought leader. He's not just a jump up and down motivational speaker, and he's had a phenomenal speaking career. And it just goes on and on. So the question is, are you being taken seriously as a thought leader? And if not, is it because you don't really have a great book? A lot of speakers just think books are business cards. They just write little pamphlet books and they say nothing, or they regurgitate Think and Grow Rich, and they're saying the same thing. We get them in our speakers bureau every day. People send us books, their books, and they're terrible. They're not terrible. They're just saying the same thing over and over. So the average speaker sells 250 books. I'll give you an example. In my career, I was taught this by Larry Wilson many years ago. Oh, I can't find the book. Here's the book. This book, 177 Mental Toughest Secrets, I wrote. In 2004, it sold hundreds of thousands of copies all over the world. It's in 6 languages and all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, I've built a consulting business, a corporate consulting business that's generated tens of millions of dollars based on this book alone. Now think about that, tens of millions of dollars from one book, because the book is saying something to the audience, to which I speak to. And so the follow-up book for that I wrote during my 7-year Johnson & Johnson contract was this book. This was coaching. Now, this book didn't sell a lot of copies. I wrote it for Johnson & Johnson. It's like a 400-page book, and it's a monster heavy. But this book allowed me to create a coaching program for managers and corporations that sold tens of millions of dollars. So my point of it is not to brag about my books, but the point of it is all my training and consulting work, which is where the real money is in this business. It's not giving keynote speeches. That's just a career. That's just a job. I'm talking about digging in deep and becoming known as a thought leader, because you've got all these books that you've written, these articles, these op-eds, and when your prospects and clients go online, they go, this guy or this gal's an inch wide and a mile deep. I mean, man, they're experts, So, and I can give you other examples like this book. This is our newest book with Tom Matthews, my newest book with Tom Matthews. How Money Works. It sold 350,000 copies, I think, in the last 9 or 10 months, I guess it's been. So it'll sell over 1 million copies. It's going to be printed in Spanish and languages all over. But it's not a super big book, but it's really, really deep not deep, but it's got the crucial financial concepts you need. So it's not the book. That the book's made money because it sold so many copies, but it's the ancillary business. We've generated lots and lots of business from this book. It just goes on and on. And so I wrote this book. Where's my other book? How Rich People Think. This book sold over 1 million copies. But I've done public seminars based on this book. The seminars have made far more than the book. And that's the point. You write the great content, the thought leadership content, and then you build a speaking business based on the content. Now, if you write a crappy book or a really lightweight book that says nothing, then you don't really have a speaking career. You got a motivational pep rally. You're a cheerleader. You might as well get pom-poms. I mean, I love my motivational speaker friends, but they're not in they're not in the business of speaking. They just give speeches for money. They're just hired guns. They're slot fillers, is what we call them at the Speakers Bureau, frankly. They're not thought leaders. This book I wrote with Bob Pascuzzi, the #1 401k manager in the country. So that lends me his credibility, and I lend him my credibility in terms of interviewing self-made millionaires and all that kind of thing. So we built, this book has not sold that many copies, but we have so much content in it that Bob's built a speaking career on it, and I use it in my speaking career as well. Here's another book I wrote for the World Financial Group, which has been a client of mine for 17 years. I did research. I sold a lot of copies of the book. It made it to number 63 on Amazon's bestseller list out of 11 million books. It's a good book. I think it's a good book. I worked really hard on it. But when I speak to them, which I've done millions of dollars in programs for them, this company, I know more about the company because I wrote the book. It's the only book I've ever written on this company. So it's not the sales of the book, although we've made some money on the book. It's the ancillary sales that drive your whole speaking business. And I can just go on and on with other books and all that kind of stuff. But bottom line of it is, think of your speaking career in terms of what you write is more important than what you say, because not what you say, but focus on the writing as much as you do the speaking, because the writing is where you establish yourself as a thought leader and not just a thought follower. At the end of the day, most speakers are thought followers. They're simply regurgitating other speakers' great material, and that's why they don't get anywhere. It's one of the reasons they don't get anywhere. But speakers like some of the people I mentioned develop themselves as thought leaders, and they put books out, and they write op-eds for the media, and they write articles, and they're digging in deep with unique points of view, not just pep rally, jump up and down. Tell you what, I'll finish it up with this. The world's become a lot tougher place, with COVID and all the different things that are happening politically, and there's a lot of unrest. People need serious thought leadership. They don't need a pep rally. Where I think we're getting past those days. And pep rallies are fine. You want to put one in your thought leadership speech, great. But be known as a thought leader, not some cheerleader with pom-poms. I mean, that's not going to give you any credibility. I mean, when a writer from the Wall Street Journal gives a speech, you think people expect fluff or a motivational pep rally? They're going to walk on coals? What the hell is that going to do for anybody? Nobody walks on coals and changes their life. I mean, or anything like that, or ropes courses, or any of that stuff. It doesn't correlate. Someone from the Wall Street Journal gives a speech. People go, this is a serious author who also speaks. And that's what you want to be known for. Think about that. I look forward to your comments. Thanks.